Hey English students, it's Mr. Gibson. We are currently in week 7 and it is the first week of October, so I'm pumped. Um, this week there's going to be no journals. That's because it's a shortened week. You have a 4-day weekend, no school, October 6th and 7th, I think. Yeah, 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 because today's the 3rd, right? Yeah. So no school Thursday or Friday. So that means even though you can continue to work on your assignments, catch up, I will be unavailable to contact for contact, and the school will be closed. So you're kind of on your own. If you catch up, if you have caught up and you are keeping a regular schedule, and you just want to really boost this week's assignments to get them all done by Wednesday, you have literally a 4-day weekend. So congratulations to those students out there. Great job. I just want to go over a few things. Your book reports, so I graded those of you who turned them in. Great job by many of you. The scores were pretty good. If you didn't get a complete 100%, it's because there were some convention issues. Conventions are the nuts and bolts of writing. So it's like spelling, capitalization, correct grammar. Um, what else? Yeah, mostly that. Those little things. And I just noticed there are some of you who didn't use any end punctuation at all. Um, or if you did, it was like a period in between, one huge paragraph, and so that means there's a lot of run-on sentences. Some of you didn't use any capitalization. Um, some of you, just the sounding of the words didn't sound right, meaning the grammar was a little off. And so what I would advise you before you before you submit any writing really, you should either read it aloud to yourself or you should have somebody else read it to you. Because sometimes when somebody else reads it aloud, they have no connection to your writing. And so when they read it, they'll read it for what's right there on the page. Sometimes when you write something and you read it to yourself, even if it's out loud, you kind of understood what you were trying to say, and so you kind of fill in the blanks sometimes, or you have that tendency to do that. I know that I do that myself. And so that's one of the benefits of having somebody else read your writing out loud to you. So that way you can hear it, they can hear it, and then you can change it and correct anything that might be a little off in your writing. So I would encourage you to do that anytime you submit your Odyssey writers, anytime you submit a book report. And when we, in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some writing assignments outside of Compass, outside of Blackboard. It's going to be formal writing assignments. Some of them will be more creative, some of them will be more academic, but these are going to be actual papers that will be scored highly. Your end grade will rely, on these writing assignments that you will do. I think you'll each have 4 of them for this school year. So you really need to start thinking about your writing on a more academic level. Am I using punctuation? Is this grammar correct? Am I capitalizing? Am I spelling this correctly? Spelling's a tricky one because, the English language has a lot of complexities to the way words are spelled. Some words are spelled really weird, and so that can be a little tricky. But thankfully, in many of the programs that we have those little squigglies under the words. So you should be able to catch many of the words that you spell wrong. The only issue there is if you spell a word correctly, but it's used out of its correct use, then those don't get caught really easily. So just be careful in the words you're using, in the way you're writing. Because for many of you, you have strong writing voice that's present there. So that's great. Many of you have great organization in your writing. It flows really well. It's just one of the biggest things I've seen is just kind of a lack of those conventions. So really try hard to use periods because they are important, commas when appropriate. Yeah, the biggest advice that I'm going to reiterate is just have somebody else read your writing or read your writing out loud to yourself before you submit anything. So if you got docked points, that's where it was at mostly. And then a couple of you just didn't write something that was interesting that you found in the book. You just gave a summary. Because that interesting part, when you do these book reports, it's very important, because that can't be duplicated. Sure, many of you could read the same book and give me this similar summary, but really each of you will find something different that's interesting, that interested you, or something different that you liked. So that kind of sets your book report apart from everyone else. Because some of you did do the same book, and that's fine. But nobody wrote the same interesting part. So that's very important to include. You'll have another book report due October 28th, which is a Friday. I'm going to start doing due dates on Fridays. I was originally doing just the entire week, just the last day in the week, but I realized, hey, I shouldn't do that. So I'm going to do it just every Friday. You'll have, most likely, every Friday will be the due date of something. That'll be the end of the school week. So your next book report, find a book, any book that you like, short story collection, poetry collection, any novel, any grade level, and just have at it. Start reading and enjoy, have fun in the process. So those are due October 28th. Once again, there's no journals for this week, week 7, because it's a shortened week, and I just want you to focus on catching up in Compass, or if you have any other type of work. The English 101 students have all their work on Blackboard, so for this week and next week. But have a great week 7. Please email me, call me if you have any questions or concerns. So we'll talk to you next week. Bye.